Well, hi everyone. Here we are again. This is our last day of this week of virtual preschool. So let's figure out what day it is today. So the last day of school we had was called what? Yes, Wednesday. Then Thursday, which is a 3's class day. So today is Friday. Yes, so let's move our frog down to Friday. And who remembers the name of our new month? Remember, it's not October anymore. Now we have the month of, yes, November. And November is the month during which we have the holiday called Thanksgiving. So let's count the numbers on the turkeys. 1, 2, 3, 4. What number comes next? 5. So let's figure out the color. Brown, yellow, orange. Brown, what's the color next? Yellow. So we have a number 5 with, a number 5 on a yellow turkey. So we need to do one more number because that was for Thursday. So 3, 4, 5. What comes next? Yes, 6. And brown, yellow, orange. Brown, yellow, orange. So we have an orange turkey with a number 6. So let's say our full date today. Today is Friday, November 6th. And remember how we moved the arrow into November, and we are still in the season of fall. All right, let's figure out what the weather is like at your house today. So when you look out the window, whoops, I'm throwing the weather cards everywhere now. Okay, so when you look out the window, is it foggy? Is it windy? Is it stormy? Is it sunny? Is it cloudy? Is it snowy? Is it partly cloudy? Or is it rainy? So you'll need to look out the window at your house and just remember there can be more than one kind of weather in a day. All right, let's see what the temperature is right now. So what does it feel like? So you'll have to kind of step out the door to figure that out. So does it feel cool? Does it feel warm? Does it feel cold? Or does it feel hot? All right, so figure that out. What is it like at your house today? All right, let me put this down here. Okay, so we have been talking all about food this week, right? And so far we've talked about fruits and we've talked about vegetables. And those are two of what we call food groups. So we have different kinds of food that we can eat and we separate them, we sort them into different groups, all right? So two of the groups are fruits that we talked about on Monday and vegetables that we talked about on Wednesday. We aren't talking about a new food group today. We will do the rest of them next week. But I do have a really cool book for you today. Remember in small group, if you came to small group, we've been talking about where our food comes from, right? Because we might go buy it at the grocery store or at the farmer's market or somewhere like that, but our food does not come from there, right? Our food comes from different places, like farms, right? From plants, from animals, right? Okay, so this book is really cool because it tells a story. And in the story, it talks about where you get these different kinds of foods. Okay, so let's see what book we have today. So that looks kind of like a frying pan, but look at the picture in the look in the frying pan. That looks like a pancake with a smiley face on it. That's pretty neat, huh? And you see it's being held over a flame. right? Now some people might have gas stoves and you would see a flame when you cook on top of a gas stove. Some people have an electric stove, and those ones you would not see a flame, right? But this book is set in a time like a long time ago, and they didn't have electric stoves back then. So they're probably cooking over a wood stove here in this picture. All right, so let's see what this is called. This is called pancakes. Pancakes, and it's going to tell us a lot about where our food comes from. All right, so let's see here. Kikiriki, crowed the rooster. Jack woke up, looked out the window, and thought, I'd like to have a big pancake for breakfast. I bet some of you have pancakes for breakfast sometimes. I wonder if you've ever thought about where your pancake came from. Jack's mother was already up and busy. Mother, said Jack, I'd like to have a big pancake for breakfast. I am busy and you will have to help me, she said. How can I help? Asked Jack. We'll need some flour, she replied. So I wonder, in a couple of our groups we talked about flour, didn't we? In a couple of our small groups. Take a sickle and cut as much wheat as the donkey can carry. Take it to the mill. The miller will grind it into flour. When Jack had cut enough wheat, he put it on the donkey's back and took it to the miller. So flour, we're finding out, comes from wheat, and wheat grows on a farm. Now this may not be the way we get our flour anymore, right? We don't have to go to the farm and cut down the wheat and take it to the miller on a donkey, right? But our flour still comes from wheat, okay? Can you grind this wheat for me? He asked. I need it for a big pancake. First we must separate the grain from the chaff, said the miller. He gave Jack a flail and spread the wheat onto the ground. The miller took another flail and began to beat the wheat with it. Jack helped with the threshing, and soon there was a big pile of straw and chaff and a small pile of grain. So I think these little pieces that are kind of flying up in the air are the grain. So they're trying to get the grain off the wheat, and that's the part they're going to use to make the flour. The miller poured the grain on a large flat stone. See it down here. On top of it was a round millstone connected to the water wheel on the outside. The water wheel turned round and round, turning the millstone round and round too, to grind the grain into flour. At last, the miller handed Jack a bag of flour. So this is probably not the way your flour is made anymore. Your flour is probably made in a factory from wheat, okay? But this is the kind of the old-fashioned way of making flour. Here's the flour, shouted Jack. Let's make a pancake. But his mother said, now we need an egg. Jack went to the black hen and fed her some grain that had slipped into his pocket while he had been threshing. Cluck, cluck, said the black hen, and went inside the hen house. Then she said, cluck, cluck, once more, and laid an egg. So we know, right, that flour comes from wheat and eggs come from chickens, specifically the hen, which is the girl chicken. And chickens live usually on farms, right? And wheat is grown on farms. Here's an egg, shouted Jack. Let's make a pancake. But his mother said, now we need some milk. Jack went to the spotted cow and began to milk her. Moo, moo, said the spotted cow as the milk squirted into the pail. So here we're learning that milk comes from cows. Now, we don't necessarily have to go out and milk our cow to get milk, right? We just go to the grocery store and buy it. But the milk still comes from a cow. All right? Here's the milk, shouted Jack. Let's make a pancake. But his mother said, we need some butter. Jack got the butter churn and held it, this is the butter churn right here, and held it between his knees. His mother scooped the cream from the top of the milk and put it into the butter churn. Jack pushed the churn handle up and down, up and down. Finally, the cream turned into butter. "Here's the butter," shouted Jack. "Let's make a pancake." But his mother said, "We need to build a fire." Jack went to the woodshed and brought some firewood. So butter also comes from milk, right? Because she took the cream off the top of the milk, and you can still buy milk with cream on it now. So she took the cream off the top of the milk, put it in the butter churn, and Jack churned and churned until it turned into butter. So we know butter comes from milk, and milk comes from cows, right? And then they are living in a time when they had to build a fire to cook, right? So they're doing that too. "Here's the firewood," shouted Jack. "Let's make a pancake." But his mother said, "Wouldn't you like to have something sweet on your pancake?" So Jack went down to the cool cellar and pulled a jar of strawberry jam from one of the shelves. Now wait a second, this isn't really telling us where the jam came from, is it? If it's strawberry jam, what do you think it's made out of? Yep, it's made out of strawberries and some other things too. And you would have to go pick the strawberries, right, from a strawberry plant to make the jam. "Here's the strawberry jam," shouted Jack. "Let's make a pancake." In the kitchen, Jack's mother had filled the table with the flour. Let's see, where's the flour? Right here. The egg. Where do they have the egg? Is that the egg? Yep, that's the egg, I think. The milk. Let's see, that's the milk. The butter. I think that's the butter right there. There was also a mixing bowl. There's the mixing bowl. A cup, a wooden spoon, a frying pan, a ladle, a plate, a knife, a fork and a spoon, and a jar of strawberry jam. And you can kind of see the pieces of strawberries in there, can't you? And his mother said, "Put a cupful of flour into the bowl. Break an egg into the flour and stir. Pour a cupful of milk over the flour and egg and stir again until the batter is smooth and without lumps." Jack's mother heated the frying pan, see there's the fire, over the fire and added a piece of butter. There's some butter. Then she said to Jack, "Now pour a ladleful of batter into the hot pan." After a minute or two, she looked at the underside of the pancake. It was golden brown. "Now watch," she said. "I'll turn the pancake over. Ready?" "Ready," shouted Jack. "Flip," said his mother. Wow, she knows how to flip it in the pan like that. Up and over went the pancake high into the air and landed right in the pan. In another minute or two, the pancake was crisp on the underside as well. I know how to make pancakes, but I do not know how to flip them like that. Then she slipped the pancake from the frying pan onto the plate and spread some strawberry jam on it. "And now, Jack," his mother started to say, but Jack said, "Oh, Mama, I know what to do now." Looks like he's taking a big bite. And that is the end. All right, so in that book, we learned that flour comes from wheat, which grows on a farm, right? Eggs come from chickens, the hens, which are the girls, and chickens are often on farms. Let's see, what was next? We had, milk, right, comes from cows. Even if you buy it at the grocery store, it still comes from a cow. Butter is made from milk. Milk comes from cows. Cows live on a farm, right? And then we also had, butter, the strawberry jam, which they didn't tell us where it came from, but we know since it was strawberry jam, it was made out of strawberries, right? And strawberries are also grown on farms. Sometimes we grow them in our own backyards, so you have to pick them off the strawberry plant first, right? So all of the food that we buy at the grocery store came from somewhere else. It didn't just show up at the grocery store. They didn't make it at the grocery store, usually, right? Okay, so I want to encourage all of you that when you see what's in the food in your refrigerator, or if you go to the grocery store, that you start to ask your mom and dad where your food came from, all right? And they might know or they might not. And if they don't, you can look it up, right? You can easily find that information online these days if you don't know where something came from. All right, let me show you what work I have for you today. So in your take-home packet, you have it's a piece of paper, and it shows you how to set the table, right? Set a place at the table. So what you can do with this is you can either look through magazines like we've been doing, or food flyers, and you can cut out pictures of food and glue them onto here. Or you can use crayons or markers or colored pencils, and you can color, you can draw food on here and color your utensils and stuff, your cup. All right, make sure your name is written up here on the line. And then if you bring this to me at preschool this week, I think it would have to be this week, maybe, yeah. So tomorrow, so let's see. Okay, so if you bring it next week, it'll probably still be okay. Bring this to me at the preschool, and I will laminate it for you, and then you will have it to use to learn how to set the table for Thanksgiving, all right? Or if you're not gonna set the table then, you can set it any other time, right? So that is one of the things in there. So you feel free to bring that to me today if you finish it at packet pickup, or if you bring it the next Friday, that would still leave me enough time to laminate it. So you could eat there too. All right, in your packet you also have a letter hunt. So for this, your mom or dad are gonna write the lowercase letters on either sticky notes or pieces of paper with tape, and they're gonna tape them or sticky them around the house. And each time you find a letter, so if you find a letter A, you're gonna color that letter in, all right? And as you collect each letter, you're gonna color it in, all right? So it's kind of like a letter scavenger hunt. And the last thing I have for you, in your packet, you have, well, they're paper clipped together. These are little puzzles about where your food comes from, okay? So the first one I have here on top, there's a cow. And we know that, and here's some milk, and we know that milk comes from cows. So you're gonna put that puzzle together like that. You're gonna do it on a table or the floor or somewhere like that, all right? And you'll do the same thing with the rest of them. The cool thing is that each of the matches has the same color. So you see how these both, it's maybe hard to see on the screen, but these both have a light green, right? So we know those go together. All right. So that is in your packet as well. All right, so I will see some of you maybe today for packet pickup, all right? And I hope you all have a great weekend, and if I don't see you at packet pickup, I will see you again next week at small group, all right? So have a great day and a great weekend. Bye, everyone.